meet a couple of local musicians who are making a difference. I am so pleased to meet each of you. First, introduce yourself.
My name is Scott Cvecko with MUSIC6S.
And can we hear Scott? Okay, perfect. Isaac back at the studio says yes. My headset is funny. So, Scott, I'm delighted that you are here, and introduce yourself.
Patrick Nettesheim, founder of Guitars for Vets originally, and now of MUSIC6S.
And the two of you are making all sorts of great sounds and making a big difference, especially for first responders and veterans, with the power of music. But before we get into the mission and those great stories, Scott, you're going to be on stage at Summerfest.
That's right. Yes.
Tell us about your band.
Well, my band is the Weary World. Back a bunch of years ago, I first started playing guitar when I was in my about my mid-40s. So I didn't start to play when I was a kid like most people do. I started in my mid-40s with guys I went to high school with. Myself, Scott Cvecko, our drummer Bill Walburn, and our bass player Scott Moore got together and started just playing around. I was first learning, so I knew my chords, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So I could play basic songs, and we started getting together and just playing. And after a while, I came up with a few song ideas, and my bandmates figured it out, and we started to just play and realize, for us to learn music that already exists was more difficult than to write our own material. So we started to write our own material, and
that's interesting to me. Mm-hmm. What is it about your own melodies and lyrics and thoughts that made it easier than copying a Led Zeppelin song?
Right. You can remember it better. When I wrote it, you play it dozens of times just to get your own riff down and how the lyrics flow over that. So when I did that, I realized it's easier for me as a learner, as a beginner back then, to play these songs. So writing became more easier task than playing what's called cover material. So we were off and running once we started writing our own songs.
Cool. And we'll hear some of those on stage?
Yeah, the performances we're going to be doing this weekend are all original music.
Cool. And tell us when the Weary World will be on stage at Summerfest. We have 2 chances to see you.
That's right. So we will be there tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at the Whammy with MUSIC6S Artist Alley stage.
And where is that? That's on the south side?
Yeah, it's near the Ferris wheel. If you're at the Ferris wheel, you are in the right place.
And you will hear it. And then you're going to be on the Generac stage.
Yeah, so at 1 o'clock on Saturday, we will be playing at the Generac stage. We very much look forward to it. Our veterans get in free that day, so we look forward to playing in front of an audience of veterans, first responders, police, firefighters, people who have what we like to call PTSD-inducing jobs. So we'll be playing our set there as well on the Generac stage.
What kind of music do you describe the Weary World as?
We've had a hard time putting our music into any kind of a neat box. I call it folk music.
Yeah?
That's what I think it is. But we have a lot. Our lead guitar player, Larry Barker, he's a pretty known Waukesha blues guitar player, and he puts a lot of blues over what we do. So I consider it blues, mix of blues, rock, and folk music.
I have so many more questions, but I love that you're going to be playing real original music that is truly coming out of you and that is a collaboration with you and your fellow musicians.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have 2 CDs that are out there. Our first one is called So Shines, and the last one we recorded right before COVID hit. So we didn't really get to release it in the manner that we wanted to. So our second CD is called Middle of the Night.
And Scott, before we go to a quick break and come back and talk even more about MUSIC6S and the impact that it's making, you are a veteran. Tell me where and when you served.
So I served in 2003 through 2004. I was part of a unit called the 452nd Combat Support Hospital based right here in Milwaukee. And in 2003, we got called up to go to, at the time it was Operation Iraqi Freedom, or OIF. We ended up at Fort McCoy, 550 of us, but really 130 of us actually ended up in Afghanistan supporting Operation Enduring Freedom. So that was a year in the combat zone. It was a lot of stress, but we were all professionals, all of us doctors, nurses, various medical staff, and even logistical and support staff were there, and it was quite a year to be deployed, and I'm very proud of what we accomplished over there as a unit.
Thank you for your service. And when we come back, we're going to find out more about MUSIC6S, more about Scott's musical journey, and what MUSIC6S, the organization, does to truly help first responders through the power of music. So stay with us here on What's on Tap on WTMJ. Welcome back to What's on Tap, broadcasting live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio at the Gruber Law Office's Sports Zone. You're hearing so many sounds of Summerfest because we are here live, but also that's Tucker Wetmore. He is headlining tonight at 10 on the T-Mobile stage for country music fans. And I have musicians here in the trailer with me. Just introduce you to Scott. Exactly. To Scott Cvecko, who will be on stage with The Weary World twice. Tomorrow at 6 on the MUSIC6S Whammy stage, and then on Saturday at 1 on the Generac stage. And Scott, you talked about kind of being folk music and you're playing with other veterans, but tell me where the name The Weary World came from.
Well, it came from the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. In that movie, Charlie Bucket is with his everlasting gobstopper. And, he at that moment, Charlie has to make a decision to be true to himself or to sell out and keep the gobstopper. If he keeps the gobstopper, he's selling out. But if he gives it back to Willy Wonka, he'll be true to himself. And we try to be write original music. So the band, The Weary World, comes from that part where he goes, "So shines a good deed in a weary world."
What a beautiful inspiration. That was not what I expected to be an answer.
I did have a dream about being, what would your band be named? And I said, The Weary World. And the band liked that story, and they stuck with it.
Dude, seriously, you should have chosen the Gobstoppers.
Ooh, that is a good band. Well, you can always have a side. So many creators. Well, and Patrick Nettesheim, that is the voice you hear there, original founder of Guitars for Vets, and now has founded yet another benevolent organization called MUSIC6S.
Yes.
Music, the number 6 and the letter S.
The license plate version of Success.
Ooh, that is good. But you yourself are a musician, and how many different bands are you participating in these days?
These days, I would say 3 different groups, and then I do some solo stuff as well.
I feel like that's natural for a lot of musicians and creators.
Yeah, you think you're going to make a better living if you get into more bands, but it still doesn't pan out.
To me, I thought it was more the opportunity to make different creations.
That too.
And the chemistry
They're very
with other
different.
musicians.
Each band has its own distinct
Well,
sound.
now that we know what MUSIC6S looks like on a license plate, Patrick, tell us what the organization is.
Yeah, well, we have a slogan, building music-inspired community to support humanity. And so, like in Guitars for Vets, we give free guitars and lessons to military vets that are living with the challenges of post-traumatic stress and other trauma. Where MUSIC6S is different, we have a larger tent, so to speak. Our focus is military veterans, but also first responders, which would include firefighters, military folks, because there's firefighters in the military, law enforcement, which also is in the military, and medical professionals. Again, what Scott did in the military. But I'll tell you, I say our focus is on that, Sandy, because if somebody comes to our organization and they're struggling, and they think that an instrument and lessons can help them, they can come in.
Because your real goal is to help people with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
Absolutely.
So you're saying that you could be someone who's not in those fields.
That's exactly.
But we want to help you through creativity.
Yeah, it's and in Guitars for Vets, I coined the term the healing power of music in the hands of heroes. Now, most military vets don't consider themselves heroes. I consider Scott that, but he's a very humble man, and he's like, I'm doing my job. And that's what's so beautiful about that. But as a civilian, that's what I believe. But you know what? Trauma is part of the human experience. And we were talking a little bit about this, Sandy, that the significance of this Saturday coming up is June 27th. June 27 is National PTSD Awareness Day. And also I made a comment that you don't see that listed in very many places. That's why we need to have this awareness.
I would say that to have the conversation, to have the discussion, and I would also think Scott, from your experience when you were sharing how the band got together and then now it's 5 people playing together, and that music really is therapeutic and connective, and speaking that language when you wouldn't just sit around with your 4 buddies and talk necessarily.
Yeah, so many, when you have PTSD-inducing jobs, and veterans come home from overseas deployment, there's a lot of mess to clean up, I think, psychologically. And, I worked at the VA Medical Center for most of my life, and that's been rewarding. But the VA is always going to try to give you prescriptions, and connecting to something is key for people, I think, with PTSD. Being part of a group, that's what MUSIC6S offers you. Being part of a scene, being part of a group, giving you the resources. But playing guitar, it can be difficult. And the MUSIC6S process, understands that, walks you through the process at your pace. And once you learn and can write your own songs or play songs that you connect to, it's very, very helpful to me. Very therapeutic, if you will.
It warms my heart. When we come back, I want to talk more about why you wanted to volunteer, Scott. I think that's significant. Patrick, what the real reason, what the real need, how you came to start MUSIC6S. And then we're also going to have even more fun talking music because I want to know who you want to see at Summerfest. So stay with us. He is Scott Cvecko of The World Weary, also volunteer at MUSIC6S and veteran, and Patrick Nettesheim of MUSIC6S, founder of this wonderful organization. Stay with us here on What's on Tap.
WTMJ.
And we're done.
You are hearing music from an Icelandic band. They are called Kaleo, and they are on the stage at the Oasis tonight at 10:30. And I'm telling you, you come to Summerfest, you always bump into somebody. Phil Sklar from the National Bobblehead Museum just came by and said hi. Hey, and more bobblehead staff are here. It is a staff outing. This is good. It brings people together. And I know that you just can't walk without seeing a friend. This is great. I am Sandy Maxx. There are more friends. Hey! Vince Vitrano, Alex Strofe, Ali Archambault, friends of Good Karma Brands, as you know. So thank you so much for tuning in. I am broadcasting live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio, and my guests for just a couple of minutes before they get back to making music and making music matter, I have Scott Cvecko, who is of the band The Weary World and also volunteering with MUSIC6S, a wonderful organization, and the founder of MUSIC6S, Patrick Nettesheim. So Scott, well, I was going to say, you're also a volunteer at MUSIC6S.
Yes.
How did you get involved with MUSIC6S, and why did you decide to volunteer?
Well, I started out, I was pretty connected to the Guitars for Vets organization. Patrick was the founder of that as well, and we had a presence here at Summerfest. They taught me how to play, and I just loved hanging out here at Summerfest. Then Patrick now has founded MUSIC6S to include our police, first responders, and we have a physical store in New Berlin, and I'll just be honest, it's just an awesome place to hang out. That's a reason why. You want to just hang around with like-minded people who love music, love to play, and we offer that. It's a music store that is also a live music venue. And just to go in there for the night and hang out, listen to your friends play, and they support you, you support them. And, most places of business, like, buy something and get out. That's a little bit of the attitude in there. But our store really has a welcoming environment, and I just love hanging out there. And, of course, here at Summerfest as well. What's more fun than spending your time down here at the world's largest music festival? And I get in here and get to interact with people and, promote our message. So.
And, Patrick, how does that make you feel, knowing that that's what Scott gets out of volunteering?
That's amazing. That's what we call mission accomplished. And I'll tell you what's fun. Since we've been in here, people are looking up at you because you're an on-air personality and a celebrity and all.
They're like, who's in the box?
I just love pointing and smiling. And there's a dude comes by from Lakefront Brewery and gives us tokens for a pint of beer because I pointed and smiled. That's great stuff.
But you're making connections. So just tell me really briefly one story of why you decided that MUSIC6S needed to be created.
Yes. Well, trauma is part of the human experience, and one of my frustrations with the last organization is that we were working with one demographic and one alone, and people from all over were reaching out, and I had to say no all the time. Sometimes you only get one opportunity when someone reaches out. We need to take that. I believe if you have the the funds, the wherewithal to meet that need, you have a moral obligation to do that. And also, trauma is part of the human experience, and it's been part of my experience as well as a civilian. PTSD, the most cases are in the civilian population. It's just that when you're a vet and you're working with combat, you're highly likely to have that. This is the way we can address it. We can't cure it, but we can manage it, and we can have some fun while we're doing that.
And take away the stigma. Like you said, you may not have another chance to help somebody if they're
Absolutely.
reaching out at that time. And how can people help MUSIC6S if they're hearing this and they're like, I have a guitar that I haven't played in ages, which was me.
Yeah, okay, well, I'd say first
I
of all,
got mine
yes,
out of the basement and brought it to you. So
we have a donor
yes,
right here.
I have a donor. But so people listening, how can they get involved with MUSIC6S?
So go to music6s.com, and that'll tell you how to get involved. The economy is tough right now. Not everybody has money, but the way we've structured this, people have stuff. There's literally millions of instruments out there that are not being played. You donate them to us. We're a nonprofit. You get a donation receipt. I'll bring yours next time, Sandy.
But I think of that person on the other side, Scott, where you're like, and now I'm making my own music, and it started coming together because we were playing more and more, and it is not easy to learn the guitar, but once I did, now you can't put it down. So that gives me joy.
Once you get past those first couple of chords, like the first time I played an A chord, like, well, this is impossible. But, practice, you get better at it, where you just get the muscle memory. And once you can effectively transfer your chords, you can play real songs.
Thank you so much to both of you for all that you do with MUSIC6S, and thank you for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your Summerfest, and everybody look for The Weary World on stage tomorrow at 6 at the MUSIC6S Whammy stage, and Saturday at 1 on the Generac stage. Patrick Nettesheim and
Okay, we're doing
Scott
this. We're
Cvecko.
all Wisconsinites. Group hug.
Group hug.